wait. Say hi, Flosstube. That's not gonna work. Okay, Gus, come. Sit. Sit. Say please. Say please. Say please. Please. Back up. Back up. Back up. High five. High five. Good boy. Roll over. Down. Good boy. Roll over. This is hard to do, filming and having him do his tricks. Say please. That wasn't please. That was you just took up from me. That was naughty. Say. Wait. We've got the tree on the floor. Wait. Wait. Okay, come. High five. Good boy. Paw. Okay, down. Roll over. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Say please. Hello, my stitchy friends. I'm back. I'm Christy. I'm the Crosshatch Quilter. Today is May 15th. This is my Flosstube number 4, and I'm here to talk to you about my stitching today. I have a little bit of stitchy kindness, a finish, whips, a new starts, some quilts, and some purchases. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with some stitchy kindness. I forgot to show this last time, and after I got done with filming my video, I was like, oh. But I got this darling card, cross stitch scene, and this darling needle book, which I'm already been using every single day, from Laura at Maud Mozart on Instagram. She's the serial starter on the duo of Brenda and the serial starter. And I just love it. Thank you so much, Laura. That meant so much to me, and I think of you every time I use this, which is every day. I have been spoiled rotten in the stitchy kindness department lately. I don't know what I did to deserve it all, but this community is just wonderful, and I'm so blessed. This is from Tina, which is Emily Ann's Closet on Instagram, and she's the mom of the duo For the Love of Stitches here on Flosstube. But she sent me Elizabeth Hunter 1853, and then she sent me all the flosses, the overdyes to stitch it with. So I'm excited to start that. Thank you so much, Tina. That was so sweet. I couldn't believe it. And then my dear friend Celeste, this came on one of those days where it's just, you know, that it was just meant to come on that day. But my friend Celeste stitched me this, and I don't know the name of the pattern. I know it's a Plum Street. It's probably in Friendship, but it is absolutely darling. She finished it and everything this way, and I have it hanging on this wreath right here, so I see it every single day while I'm in here stitching and sewing. And there's us by our little houses. We just wish that the Texas and the Utah house were that close together so that we could hang out. But I just love this so much, and she did over one stitching. I think that was her first time doing over one stitching, and it looks so good. I will treasure this always. Thank you so much, Celeste. Okay, I'm gonna show you my finish. Yay, I had a finish. I was so excited. I just got this done. This is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. And last time I showed this to you, I just had this top border done. But I've got a finish. Here it is. And that border is pretty intense. It doesn't look like it's an intense border, but it is something else, I tell you. But it is worth every stitch and all the trouble that you go to make it. A sweet viewer had emailed me when I showed it on my first video, showing that it was one of my whips and one of my Stitch 9 challenges from last year, that I hadn't finished the little wing right here. And so I wanted to tell you guys about it because it might be something that you're not aware of either. Here on the chart, you can see that all the bird's wings are all the same. But on the actual chart on this bird right here, his little wing is clubbed on the chart. And so if you want it to look like the cover page, you just need to finish stitching the wings just like the other two. So I did that, and thank you so much for letting me know that. I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, but I really appreciate that because I hadn't noticed. So anyway, there's my completion. This is stitched on 32 count French Vanilla by R&R Reproduction Fabrics with all the called for flosses. Love this so much. Hopefully before fall I can get it framed when everything gets a little bit back to normal. Okay, on to my whips. My morning stitching for 30 minutes every day is Anniversaries of the Heart. This month is Farmhouse, which is block 6 because there was a bonus block in there. And I haven't finished block 5 yet, but I kind of cheated. And I moved ahead onto, well, I just barely started it down there, the border. But I'm going to work on Farmhouse this month. And then as I'm playing catch up, I'll start April's block over here. But here's my progress. So there's January, February, the bonus block. And then here is March's block. I'm almost done with the house. I've stitched the windows a couple times and I'm still playing with the color that works for the windows. The called for color doesn't show up, so I've unstitched it a few times, and hopefully I think I'm going to try Lexington green next so that it kind of looks like there's a little bit of a light lit up in the house windows. I'd done yellow, I think, which was the called for, and it didn't, there wasn't enough contrast with this already like caramely color that's there. So I need to stitch the rabbit, and then there's like a little urn or vase right here and some vine. So there's my Anniversaries of the Heart. Just a little bit of progress since last time. Like I said, I have been so busy I haven't had a ton of stitching time. Hopefully when school gets done that will change a little bit. And then my next one that I've been working on is Consider the Lilies, and just a pointer. I made a photocopy of the glossary of the chart colors that you need to make that a little bit easier as you're stitching each page. But I just love this one so much. I've got it in my project bag that matches Laura with Brenda and the Cereal Starter. She's got her Consider the Lilies in that bag as well. And I'm stitching this with, I started this with my friend Celeste, who is Celeste Creates on Instagram. I'm stitching mine on 36 count vintage buttercream, and I've been working on this flower here, which I'm not completely done with, and this house. The flower I've kind of been hung up on because there's two colors there in the stem, and it doesn't have a ton of contrast. When you see somebody that's stitching it with the DMC version, theirs has a ton of contrast and it's very precise and the colors are very pure. I still love mine, but I kind of sometimes wish I would have done this one with the DMC because it's just vibrant and very accurate. The only color that I've changed so far on the overdyed colors that are called for is the white. Instead of using, I think, Toasted Marshmallow, I've just been using NPI Silk that is the white. The oh, I don't have my flosses with me right here. I don't know the number, but it's the white that's for NPI. And so there's my Consider the Lilies. If you want to see a DMC version, my friend Celeste is stitching hers with the DMC, and she is Celeste Creates on Instagram, and hers is so pretty. Go and check hers out. Okay, my next whip, I have it in my Rika bag. I have been working on this quite a bit. This has been one of my focus projects this month, but this is made by Rika, who is House of Stitch and Stash. She is on Instagram under that name and Flosstube. She is stitching a chatelaine right now that is absolutely stunning. Every time she posts progress pictures of it or shows it on her Flosstube, I love it so much, and I've been tempted a few times to get it, but I don't know if I have the patience to do all those specialty stitches right now, especially with all the stress that's going on right now. I don't think I can add one more thing I have to learn right now. Does that make sense? Anyway, so this is Summer at Hollyberry Farm by Stacy Nash, and I am stitching mine on 36 count L by Picture This Plus. I didn't iron this, so it's a little bit wrinkly. At the end of this video, I'll post pictures of all my whips and finishes, and I'll post a picture of my previous progress. I had just had this vine and about to write here on the alphabet. So I finished the rest of the alphabet, and then I've started on this awesome house. I love that house, and the roof is stitched with walnut by Gentle Arts threads. The instructions tell you to like do diamond shapes, but I just really like how it looks like shingles, just like that. I love that variegation. It is definitely the perfect roof color. So I really want to get this done. This is one of my Stitch 10 challenge, or Stitch 10 and 20 this year, so I'd like to get this done. And I really enjoy working on this one. I don't know why, but I love stitching houses, and I love where it's just solid fill in. Like if you I just stitched the outline of the roof and then the house and the windows, and I just love to sit and stitch on it when I'm talking to friends on Zoom or doing FaceTime, or just visiting with family at the end of the day. It's a good fill-in project. So there's that one. And then my next whip is, and I am hoping for this to be a finish by Memorial Day. I'm stitching this with my good friend Olivia, and I forgot to mention Anniversaries of the Heart is a stitch along that is on Instagram by Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts and Deborah with Canopied Stitches, and I can't remember the hashtag right now. I'll post it below, but it's probably Anniversaries of the Heart Sal or Anniversary Sal, and I just love stitching on that piece. This one I started back in 2018 with Olivia. This is Queen of Freedom, and I had my chart sitting here, and I don't know where it's at right now. Oh, where'd you go? Okay, I can't find it, but here's mine, and I am all done except I have just been doing the Krynic and the beads. So here's some of the beads you can see there, and I've been filling in the Krynic. I think from here up she's done, and then I've just been working on the Krynic, more Krynic. That Krynic takes a lot longer than regular floss, but next week is Memorial Day, so I am going to be working on this every day until I get it done. And I just love stitching on this with Olivia. We're going to have twins, as we always say. It is one of those projects that I have really, really enjoyed, but I have been so glad that I've had a friend to stitch it with, because I don't like stitching Krynic, and actually beads are pretty fun, but it was one of those projects that I kind of needed pushing to finish. And so I'm really glad that Olivia has been stitching on this as well. But we're hoping that we're going to do a FaceTime and put in the last few beads or stitches together so that we can commemorate it that way. But this is stitched on 28 count Pledge of Allegiance fabric by Stitchery Express, and their they have a website. And there is my Queen of Freedom. Hopefully next time I get on here, I can show you guys a finish. Love that one. I really enjoyed that. So Olivia and I, we always joke that we're twins. When one of us buys something, the other one will have just purchased it too, and we will have not talked about it. And then we'll message each other, hey, look what I just bought. And we'll giggle because the other one has just bought it. And it goes both ways all the time. We always say that when we finally can be together, after this whole quarantine thing is over, and hopefully we get to go to a retreat or something like that, that we're going to finish each other's sentences, because I've truly never met someone that is so similar to me in our tastes and our personality, and it's super fun. It's kind of almost not scary, but at first it was like, oh, is she copying me? I'm sure she felt that way, but it's just, we're just so similar that it always turns out that way. And I'll show you some examples here in a few minutes. But so a few weeks ago, I had messaged her showing her that I wanted to, that I had been kitting up a project. I had been working on kitting it up for a couple months. And I had talked to Jen with Quirks and Stitches, and she had very kindly given me her thread conversion for Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. And so thank you, Jen. That was so nice of you to share your conversion and your hard work to do that. Her conversion is gorgeous. Go check it out on her Instagram or Flosstube videos. So I'm using the Gentle Art thread conversion, and I had texted Olivia and I'd said, look what I'm thinking about starting here in May. And in May, I always, for some reason, start to crave to stitch fall or Halloween. There's Christmas in July, so I guess I just figured that June should be like fall stitching and May should be Halloween stitching or fall. And so as soon as I text her, she goes, I was just thinking about buying that. And so she did. And the day that she received her chart in the mail, we were like, well, when should we start it? And we were texting back and forth. And then I'm just like, well, let's just start today. And so we did. And we are going to do a stitch along. And we would love it for any of you to join us. A few have already. And it is going to be so much fun. Like Olivia always says, it will be a forever kind of Sal, and we'll be here to root you on. I'm sure it'll take us quite a long time to stitch it, because as Kathy Barrick, the genius that designed this, has so she had named it the Beast, and it really is. So when she was trying to think of the name, there's not a bear on this chart, but she had been nicknaming it the Beast all along. And so on the thread conversion, or on the thread chart, there's a beast on there. Of course, now that I'm filming, I can't find it just so quickly. I should have had it ready. I'm sorry. There's the beast right there. But it is a big girl, or a big beast of a stitch. So we are going to hashtag the Sal, Lazy Autumn Beast Sal, and if you'd like to join us on Instagram, use that hashtag, and I will post it below as well. So on mine, I had started it with Olivia, and I had started it on 36 count L by Picture This Plus, and here is my progress. But then after I had started it, and the more oranges and this yellow that I would put on here, and it's on this video, it's not showing the true, this is a very orangey dye lot of L. Sometimes it isn't very orangey, but this one just seems to not pop the colors the way that I want them to. And like here in this video, it looks better than it does in person when I take pictures of this, and I posted one on Instagram, it doesn't show how orangey it is. I really do like the way that it looks right there. But I'm like, you know, I'm just not happy with it, and for how big of a project it is, I want to love it. And so I restarted it. And I restarted it on Ren by Picture This Plus. And I don't have the owl or the oranges in there quite yet. A little bit right there. But I like this so much better. So tell me what you think. Do you like the Ren better, or do you like the L better? I'm about the same much progress in each, so I don't know. I keep going back and forth after I started. I really do like this, I think. I'm going to stick with this one, but I would love to hear your opinion as well. And please join us. It's going to be so much fun, and I love this chart because it's not Halloween-y. It's called Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain, but it just captures everything about fall that I love without the creepy. It doesn't have the witches and the skeletons and the things that you would kind of, you know, shy away from on Halloween stuff. This has just got the perfect taste of autumn to me, I feel. And then on the tombstones, I'm going to put my mom and I'm going to put my grandpa, because they both passed away when I was young. So the saying on the bottom says, "Angels weep when children mourn." And I just love that. This orange house is absolutely perfect. So that is our Sal. And then I have a few more starts. So I was talking to my friend Carol Crago. She's I think that's her Instagram name on Instagram as well, as Carol Crago. But we were talking, and she had mentioned that she was starting this. And I had just got it in the mail. I was waiting. I had my linen, but I had just gotten it that week. And I didn't have all the flosses for it yet. But I'm like, I'm going to start it with you. So that is exactly what I did. And I haven't gotten very far. That day I started just the flower because that was the only threads I had. And since then I've received the rest of my overdyes, and so I finished the border. And so I want to get back to this one. I love this chart. And after seeing Brenda's finish that she showed last week on her Flosstube of it fully framed, oh, I want to order that exact frame and do it exactly like that. So this is one that I want to really work on in the near future soon, because I want that on my wall. And then the other start that I did, I've talked about this a couple times, is the Berry Bowl Sampler. And I'm stitching this along with Adele, which is Smurfette Stitches. And she has a Flosstube and an Instagram. And there's also a Sal I've noticed going on Instagram for this. We started it before that, but just so you know, there is a Sal that you can join in on. But here is my progress on that. Not very much, but I need to unpick all of this because it's one stitch over too far. If it was just for me, everything doesn't touch on this pattern, I would just probably keep it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to fix it so that it is exactly the way that it's supposed to be. And this is on Ren by Picture This Plus 36 count. And that is such a fun stitch. It kind of reminds me of fall, the colors. I just love it, but it's just perfect. That's a really fun stitch. Okay, and then my other start, we're just going to toss them on the floor, and then I'll have a great big mess to clean up after. My next start is Tomato Dame, and this is an exclusive chart that is through Dying to Stitch, but it's by Plum Street Samplers. So if you would like this chart, contact the ladies at Dying to Stitch and they'll hook you up. I'm stitching this on 36 count Seafoam, and here is my progress so far. So I've got that big tomato done, and then we're just working on the wheelbarrow or the wagon right now. Somebody asked me, I've had quite a few people ask me about 36 count stitching and if I like it. I use one strand, and for me, I can see 36 count without magnification at this point. I need good lighting, but I don't need magnification, and so that's kind of my sweet spot. And with the sewing method, I can just do it faster than 40 count. So it is really my preferred linen count, but I do use one strand of thread, and it doesn't have 100% coverage like you would see if you use two strands. That doesn't bother me. I know some people it does, so it is totally a personal preference. In person, that looks a lot more full coverage than my video. My camera is blowing that out a little bit. That's better. So I don't mind coverage on 36 count, but it is totally a personal preference. And people that use two strands on 36 count, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's definitely full cover, like it doesn't show any, have any linen showing through. So I hope that answers your questions. I've also had a few people ask me if I would do a video showing how I stitch in hand. And if there is enough interest, if you would put that below, I would be happy to do it. I stitch and finish each cross as I go. And I like doing it that way because I like the method of it, but also because when you have to unstitch, you have to frog something, you can cut in the middle of your pattern, or okay, let me show you. So like on this tomato, say I had forgot this little green vine right here and I had just stitched it with the red or the orangey red. I could go in there with my scissors and just cut the top thread of a few stitches around, because each cross has been crossed, and just unstitch enough where I have a long enough thread to thread my needle and then take it to the back and finish it off, and then re-stitch that area. If I had done one cross or half a cross this way and then gone back, then you can't do that as easy because you won't have a solid thread to just, you'd have to unstitch the whole tomato part right there. And so I do like crossing my X's for that reason, but also because if you're using a variegated floss, then I like the way that that looks as well. But I do, even if I'm stitching with DMC, I finish my full entire cross while I'm stitching it. If you have questions, leave them below and I'll get back to you. And then, so now on to some purchases. So Brenda had shown her tomato bag, and that she had the sewing club in there from Blackbird Designs. So I have been working on kitting up my sewing book the way that her and Carol do with all the flosses, and I made a small tomato bag. So it's an accessory bag to go with it, and it's where I'm keeping all of my floss overdyes for the entire book. I don't have all of them yet, as everyone else is having a problem finding threads, so am I, but that's what I've been able to purchase so far for the book. I really want to start, I think I'll just start at the beginning and go through the book because I love each and every project so much. So I probably will start with this one. And I've got the linen and threads for that. So that is one of my new purchases. And then I purchased Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. And I've seen a few ladies stitching this. There's a few ladies that have finished it on Instagram recently. It is so pretty. I love that, but I don't know when I'll get to it. It's not an immediate, but I had to have it. And then this came out from Brenda Gervais, Project Quarantine, and I called up Dying to Stitch, and they hooked me up and kitted it up for me. So that is definitely on my immediate radar to start. And then I ordered this back in January, and I forgot who I ordered it from, and I couldn't find like the information on my email to go back and look. But I got it in the mail the other day, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad that. But I ordered this back in January, and I think they order it clear from France, so it took quite a long time. Abecedare Rouge by Reflets de Soie, and there's just lots of awesome samplers in there. And then I got this on Kitten Stitcher's website, Teresa's. Hands to Work Liberty, and this is an out of print chart, but I talked to Tracy, and she said that it is one that she is going to be reprinting. But I just love that. I was excited to find that, and I want to get more of her charts too. The one with the flower base and the bunny rub, I love those. I can't remember their name right now. And then I purchased Jane Cowie, and I got the called for linen to go with it, which is Cocoa. I got a 36 count though. I think it calls for 46. I can't see 46. All those 46 count stitchers have superhuman powers. And then I found this on eBay, and it has been one of my unicorn charts forever. And so I was really glad that I won that auction. And that is on my immediate radar to start. And then Carol the Salt Box Stitcher showed this, and I love the border on this. I had to get it. And it is May Sheep May Safely Graze, Alice Smith, 1841. I got this on Teresa Kitten Stitcher's website, and that border is just magnificent. And the little sheep. I think there are a couple of them that are over one, the little baby ones. Don't have any immediate plans of starting that right away. That'll be a big project. And then I got this from Kitten Stitcher. Isabella Johnston sampler. Love that. And then I was talking to Olivia, and I'm like, now that I'm really close to finishing my Away Rewrite that has the crows on it, or the blackbirds. I saw Jen with Quirks and Stitches, her finish on this. I wanted to get it so bad. And so I think Olivia got it as well. I don't know when we're going to start it, but probably sooner than later. Love this one. And then Olivia bought this book and showed it to me, and she bought a kit for it, and she's posted on her Flosstube. And so I had to go out and get it. So I did copy her on this one. This is a full-on copy. But this book is from Thrift Books, I think, is where we ordered it from. Yeah, thriftbooks.com, and it wasn't only a few dollars, and then shipping. And it is full of vintage blocks. That will be a good one to have just for what, you can mix match, make up a quilt. And then Olivia had said, she had sent me a text saying, oh, look what I just bought. And I laughed, and of course she bought that because it was sitting on my front steps that morning from the post office. And it is this kit. It is by Fig Tree Fabrics. It's called Catalina, is the fabric line, and the quilt is called, let's just look. It comes in this awesome box, Stars and Stripes Forever. So that is on my immediate radar to start. Okay, I had to stop and get a drink. The springtime allergies, and my neighbor is burning tree limbs and weeds, and so it's made a smoky, every time we've let the dog out, it just brings in all the smoke, and so I'm got a little bit of a tickle today. But so back to Olivia purchases and joint stitching. When you watch her Flosstube and mine, they're going to just be the same projects. That's just what it's going to be like. But I have had this in my stash since last fall, and I was talking to her about it and got her addicted to it as well. I just love this and the murky. Every time I see somebody post their progress, I just love it because of all the colors just pop so well on this fabulous murky fabric. So there it is, all kitted up, and excited to start this one. Like I said, I've been itching to stitch all of the Halloween cross stitches, and I've got it in my little Halloween bag here. Thought it matched perfectly with the colors that were in this. So there is Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio. And then, speaking of Halloween, I want to get back to this one. I had started this 2 years ago. I didn't work on it at all last year because I was mad at it. It was in timeout. But it is a Ghoul Tide Welcome. And I'm stitching it on the called for 36 count vintage sand dune by Lakeside Linens. And I had started it with all DMC. And as I was back to that 36 count and the coverage and everything, I wasn't happy at all with the coverage on this. It is 3371 by DMC, and I just didn't like the way that it was looking. And so I'm working on unpicking it, as you can see. I had the witch done, the horse, and this over here was a test stitch. This is the silk that is called for, the NPI silk, and that is what I'm going to replace all the stitches with. Like over there, there's the DMC. It looks alright, but on that house, it just looked horrible. So I have quite a bit of frogging to do in my future, but I want to get back to this one. I just love this chart. As you know, I've stitched the Liberty's Welcome, so I want to, and I've started the Yuletide Welcome as well, so I want to have all three on my wall one day. Okay, now on to, so here's my last purchase. I am going to do the Quilter's Cottage sew along on Instagram. It is hashtag Quilter's Cottage Sew Along. It is by Lori Holt with Fat Quarter Shop and It's So Emma. And it's this cover quilt. The sew along starts on August 7th. Fat Quarter Shop is getting in their fabric. It's been delayed because of COVID. Excuse me. So if you've ordered a kit, it should be coming in. They're expecting them in June. And then the sew along will start in August. And I'm super excited to do this. I'm going to put this in my camper trailer. Oh, on my bed in there. So it'll be home away from home. But I just absolutely love this. I'm so excited about this. And I think it's perfect for also what we're going through right now. Just stay safe at home and be happy in our hobbies. And speaking of that, what do people do that don't have hobbies right now? I am always busy. I'm never bored. But when I talk to friends or family that are struggling. I think mainly it's because they don't have a lot to do at home, and so just find comfort in your crafts, and it just really does soothe the soul to stitch or sew or create in some way. So I'm so thankful for this community at this time as well. I've had so many people reach out to me and check up on me and see how I'm doing and want to know where I'm at and why I haven't posted a video. And I'm here. I'm just busy. But I wanted to show you one last quilt, and then I'll be done for the day. I'll be right back with the quilt. So this is, speaking of fig tree fabrics, because I just purchased that Stars and Stripes quilt kit, I wanted to show, this is Ferris Wheel Quilt by Fig Tree Fabrics, and it just reminds me of summer. I sewed it and finished it a couple summers ago, and then I just got it back from my quilter recently, so I just attached the binding and need to finish hand binding it onto the back. But this is Ferris Wheel Quilt. There's the backing fabric. I love this. It reminds me of summertime. Here in Utah we have Pioneer Day, and it reminds me of wagon wheels. It also reminds me of a carnival and eating funnel cakes and Ferris wheels, and just the cheerful, happy Coney Island fabrics remind me of summertime. So that is my quilt, and I'll get that finished. My friend Yvette on Instagram had told me that I needed to put 3 strands of binding thread in a quilt each day, and so I have been doing that. Those were my marching orders. And I got my quilt that I had shown last time with Haley finished and put on her bed. So I did. I've been a good girl. I wanted to thank you all for your kind comments. It really was so fun to have Haley on here last time. She got on here and read all of your sweet, kind comments, and it just really made her day. And so she told me to tell you guys thanks. She hasn't stitched since then. She's been busy doing testing for the end of school year the last few weeks. So hopefully this summer she'll get back to it, and we'll have a finished quilt and some other stitching projects to show you soon. But I just really appreciate everything. This community is so wonderful to be a part of, and it's been a blast. We're gonna have a birthday party drive-by here later today for one of our little neighbor boys, and I get to talk to some friends on FaceTime. So I'm just looking forward to having a fun weekend, and I hope that you all have some good stitching time and are having a great weekend. Bye. Talk to you later.